All backed by the Chevrolet name. See the lineup today at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, online at hurlchev.com.
When fraud strikes, every second counts. At FNB Bank, we take your security seriously. Our local team monitors for suspicious activity and responds fast, so small issues don't turn into bigger problems. I'm Jessica Von Little at FNB Bank. We are your first line of defense, protecting you, your money, and your peace of mind. FNB Bank, local, trusted, here for you. Member FDIC.
With NWKS Radio News, I'm Connor Schuh. A couple days ago, Kansas State Senator Roger Marshall made a visit to Livewell Northwest Kansas Distribution here in Thomas County, and got to interview him and talk about what that means and what they do in his visit. So here's a little bit of what he had to say.
Well, I think it's important to you'll understand there are so many great organizations out there trying to touch people, and Livewell is one of those organizations. They're certainly focused on children and families, meeting people where they are. So, and whether it's a nutrition issue or mental health issue or anything in between, they're out there trying to help families that maybe just need a little extra help. And I think Livewell is an organization that's doing a great job. And if they just had a few more resources, they could do even more.
For these and other stories, go to nwksradio.net.
Today, a low pressure spinning through the three corners, and a cold front will bring a shot of light snow and flurries along highways 34 and 36 through mid-morning with less than an inch of accumulation. The rest of the day is cloudy and colder across the area, more like February with highs in the 30s, gusty 20 to 30 mile an hour northwesterly winds. Tonight, winds will become light and skies will clear and lows will drop into the low teens. Another trough and low will move through tomorrow through Saturday morning, continuing the colder temperatures with highs in the 30s to around 40 and lows in the teens, and a light 1 to 2 inches of snow is possible. Sunday will be clearing skies with colder highs still in the 40s, and a high-pressure ridge will build over the Rockies and move over the area Monday and Tuesday, with highs climbing to around 60 on Monday and into the 70s Tuesday. Lows will be in the middle to upper 20s. This meteorologist Chris Romick and NWKS Radio Weather Center.
Are pests making your home or business uncomfortable? Call Pest Away in Goodland, Kansas, serving all of Northwest Kansas. They provide top-notch pest control services to keep your space safe and pest-free. From ants to rodents, termites to spiders, our expert team is here to help with effective, safe, and affordable pest control solutions. Don't wait. Call Pest Away today at 785-728-7166. For fast, reliable service. Your home or business deserves the best protection.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland, and let's get you covered. The insurance agency. Insurance the way it should be.
When you gotta go, but there's nowhere to go, who you gonna call? Topside Portables and Pumping, that's who. Weddings, job sites, farm parties, they've got clean, reliable porta potties that don't stink, literally. And if your septic tank smells worse than last year's chili cook-off, they'll pump it out fast. No mess, no fuss. Family owned, Heartland values, always ready. Call 785-728-8089. That's 728-8089. Topside Portables and Pumping. When duty calls, they answer.
At Ray Community District Hospital and Clinic, they believe in promoting healthier living through compassionate quality care. From state-of-the-art maternity care to life-saving emergency services, their dedicated team is there for you and your family. Whether it's managing diabetes, navigating recovery, or receiving specialized treatments, they're committed to your well-being. Discover the difference a community-focused hospital can make. Visit rayhospital.org today to learn more. Ray Community District Hospital and Clinic. Your health, our priority.
You ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4!
It's time for the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
If you want to win in football, it all starts up front. Mass kicks ass.
And Connor Schuh.
He's the new guy.
The High Plains only local sports talk show. Broadcasting live on Goodland's Rocket 102.5 and video streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
They're basically idiots.
Covering it all from the preps.
Up ahead to Blair Lennon. Lennon, the crossover back to Cure. Hello, boom! A two-handed tomahawk flush.
To the pros.
Shotgun snap to Nix. Protection is good. Bold loads it up. He's got it. A receiver there. Franklin makes the catch in the end zone. Touchdown, Denver.
The Blitz is presented by Pearl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank. Along with
Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell, the Insurance Agency, Pestaway LLC, Topside Portables and Puffing, and the Farmer State Bank in Oakley.
Let's go to work.
To Alcantar, and Libick here almost gets the steal. Now pokes it away into the hands of Emily Gray Stargell. Stargell down the floor, one-on-one with Tomacek to the kin and in for Emily Gray Stargell. Mull down the floor, stops the lay-in, up with the right hand and good. 12 for Braylon Mull. He's taking over in the second quarter.
Jerem will back it out and set up shop for Council. Here's a pass to Peterson. Uncorks a three. Buried it again. Darren Peterson unconscious. He's got 20 already.
Line trying to drive. Cut off. Looks back in the corner. Come on, Houston. Oh, he did it again. Millett with his second overtime three, and Bama leads by 4. Again, I'll say it. Oh, mercy, Houston Millett.
Nothing like a great radio call to get your blood pumping in the morning. Good Thursday morning, everybody. Glad you decided to join us here on the Morning Blitz. I tell you what, we've been talking about how it hasn't felt like February very much. Hello, February. It's February 19th, and we feel you this morning. Cold,
yes,
and windy.
Is it snowing out at all out there in Goodland?
Traces of snow. Not enough to, just enough to see a little white stuff here or there, but not a ton. So I'm not going to sit here and say we're going to see a bunch of it, although there is some chances of more snow, I think, today and for sure tomorrow, which, by the way, for those who don't know, will be the coldest day of the week. Temperatures expected to be around the mid-30s tomorrow, and still kind of, I think the big thing is the wind. Wind gusts today are going to be anywhere from 25 to 40 miles per hour. And you know what that's going to do when it comes to like the real feel. I think like it's actually like 21, 22 degrees outside, but it feels like, like 1 or something like that. Yep. It's cold. So anyway, it'll be a little chilly today and tomorrow, and then warming up through the weekend is kind of the weather forecast looking ahead. And don't worry, cold. If you love those 70-degree February temperatures, they will return. Looking like we're going to see the 70s back around Tuesday. So, but at least for the weekend and for the foreseeable couple of days, chances of some very cold temperatures and some snow. 50% chance of snow Friday, 50% chance of snow on Friday night. How much accumulation that amounts to, I don't think it's going to be a whole lot.
Probably not much.
I'm guessing anywhere from maybe a trace to an inch, maybe 2 if you're really in a tough spot, I guess, if that's the best way to put it. So that's a look at your weather forecast. But anyway, how's everybody doing this morning? How you doing this morning, amigo?
I'm doing fine. A little tired. Obviously, whenever you do Tech Tiger basketball, you end up back a little bit late. But how about yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Actually, that was not, we had the extremely rare Wednesday night high school basketball doubleheader down in Syracuse. I actually got home before the Tech Tiger men got done playing.
Jeez. It's got to feel good.
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, it was awesome. I mean, the game started at 3:30 Mountain Time and was on the road at 7 and home by 8:30. To make it back. Nice. So it was nice, and I could get used to that kind of schedule if they wanted to move games up a little bit. I could get used to that.
It wouldn't be too bad.
But no, it was fine. Split for the Cowboys and Cowgirls down there in Syracuse. More on that in a little bit, but no, I'm doing all right. If if I could get rid of this little pain in my lower back, I'd be great. I'd be doing wonderful. But But other than that, I don't have any complaints, and we're ready to roll
It's the
here.
chiropractor.
I've gone to the chiropractor, but I think it's more of a muscle related thing. I think
Got to stretch it out or something.
I tell you, I try, but I tell you, I don't know. I think I've got the tightest hamstrings in America.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a million people who would say the same thing.
Oh my gosh, I've got just some. What about your hamstrings? Are they tight? Are they, you think, consider your hamstrings tight? Because mine are super tight.
I think I would consider mine a little tight, but I try to stretch as much as possible. So they could be worse.
Good for you. Good for you. It's good for you that you're young and you're stretching. I mean, you tell yourself you're going to stretch, but time just kind of runs into each other and you forget to stretch. And that's unfortunately what's kind of gone on with me. I've got to get a little bit better about that. But nonetheless, who would have thought we'd be talking about hamstrings on a Thursday morning show?
What a way to start.
Hey, you know what? That's what makes this show great. I'm excited we're talking about something different. Today's program, we will be visiting with Steve Mark. He covers the Nebraska Cornhuskers for Inside Nebraska. We'll talk to him about Nebraska basketball, who's lost 4 of their last 6. Had a conversation with a friend of mine from back home and want to know my level of concern following these last 6 games. And so we'll ask Steve that question. We'll have him on the program and talk to him about that kind of stuff. Also, believe it or not, spring football begins for Nebraska starting this weekend. And so we'll get some thoughts with Steve on that as well coming up here on the show. That's in our second segment of the program. But let's get into some basketball from last night, a busy night. You were busy, of course, last night inside the Max Jones Fieldhouse for some Tech Tiger hoops. You saw a couple of losses for the Tech Tigers, one lopsided and one very close.
Indeed. So that first game was the girls' game was unique. I'll put it like that. So I'll paint you a picture. After I think 5 minutes into the game, you look up at the scoreboard. Tech has the ball. They're running the clock all the way down, the full 30 seconds, and the score is 2-2. 5 minutes in, 2-2. And you know why? It's because Fort Hays Tech is deliberately trying to almost play keep away, playing keep away and trying to just lengthen every possession possible to try to limit the opportunities for Dodge, who is a team that plays very fast. And it worked pretty well until the second half. After the first quarter, it was 10-5. And then Dodge kind of got out in front. They were leading at half by 18. And then Fort Hays Tech, I think they got it to within 16 at one point in the second half. But then everything just broke apart, and Tech couldn't score in the final, 70-28. Not awesome, but it is an improvement from the first time those teams met, in which do you know the score? Are you familiar of the first score?
I am not familiar of the first score off the top of my head, but I can pull it up right here. 107.
I've got it.
37. Yeah.
Yes. There you go. I just wanted to see if you had that one. It's not great, but it's certainly improvement. But on the men's side, that was a brutal ending. They were down by 12 with about 5 minutes to go, and they led a heck of a comeback. A couple of steals from Daquan Slayton really started to get the gears turning, and they started scoring, and they went on pretty much a 10-0 run and got within 2, and then traded buckets for a second, and then were able to take the lead by 1. And then it was Dodge ball with, I think, 10 seconds to go. They inbounded. They get it to Derek Rivers Jr., who's the number 2 scorer in the Jayhawk, almost 22 points per game for him this year. And him and Daquan Slayton just run right into each other. They're both, it looked like Rivers kind of lost the ball, but they called a foul on Slayton. And of course, they're in the penalty. So Rivers goes to the line down 1, hits both free throws, because of course he does. And then Tech has like 9 seconds to get down the court, and they do. And King Smith loses the ball.
9 seconds is an eternity to get down the floor.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And Dodge wasn't pressuring or anything. Bradshaw didn't call a timeout when they crossed midcourt. He's like, I'm just going to let him play, see what they can do. King Smith loses it, picks it back up with 4 seconds, just tosses it to the post for Mateo Tasevich. He goes to work on the left block and throws up a scoop shot that hits the bottom of the rim. Game over. Brutal. It's just a bad ending. Awful taste in your mouth.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that they lost on a couple of, not last second, but within the last few seconds of a couple free throws, and that's just tough when you lose by one that way. And there's a lot of games in the Jayhawk decided by a possession. There's just a lot of games like that, particularly this year. I mean, once again, you take a look at the standings in the Jayhawk. There is, Butler is leading the way at 14-6, and then you've got Barton at 14-7. But there are so many teams in that where Tech is at 9-11 up to what is 13-7 where Dodge City is. I mean, there's so many. They're so even in this entire league. Unless you are, unfortunately, Colby or Pratt, everybody else is pretty much in the same boat where you can get beat by anybody any given night because you're just that much.
And Tech could still get a home playoff game if they would maybe have to win out, but it's possible.
Well, you just don't know. I mean, if you do pick up a couple wins and the way things shake out, you could possibly end up getting a home playoff game. But
close enough.
We'll see. I mean, it's been that kind of year for them. The thing that stood out to me was I looked at the starting five, and that's a different start. They feel like I see a different starting five almost every night for 4 Days Tech North.
I asked Coach about that, and he said it's like if someone was turning the ball over a bunch the game before and they were in the starting lineup, he'll have them come off the bench to kind of send a message. Sounded like that was the deal there.
Well, Q Dixon led the way, 22 points, 17 from Khalil Kelly, the leading scorers off the bench for 4 Days Tech Northwest in this one. Once again, I always like to look for the defining stats in these games, and it looks like it was rebounding last night. Dodge had 46 boards, and Tech had 28.
Won't do it.
That will not get it done. So you look at down the stretch here, tough game. You've got I don't know. I think if you're Tech, I think realistically you could see going 4-4 down the stretch for the men here. Going to Cloud will be tough. At Colby, I think is a game that you could possibly get. We'll see.
Possibly. I think
Colby. I mean, like I said, I don't like to assume things. I would think that you're able to get that against Colby. I would think that.
Yeah. I think it'll be close. We'll call it that.
Then they are at home hosting Coffeyville and Hutch. And the Coffeyville will be hard, but you're at home. And then Hutchinson at home. Hutch is not the same this year. In fact, Hutch is actually in the third to last place spot in the men's standings, which is someplace you never see Hutch.
No.
So they're having a really down year, is Hutch men's basketball. So maybe there's a chance to go 3-1 because they did knock off Coffeyville earlier this year down at Coffeyville by 2. Yeah, you look at a lot of these games. Look at the Barton Tech. So Tech loses by 1 to Dodge. They lose by 2 at Barton. Let's see. Go back up here. They lost by 2 at Butler, or to home against Butler. They won by 2 at Coffeyville. I mean, you just look at the
story of the season.
By 2 at Dodge. It has been the story of the season. Either close wins or close losses. They lost by 3 at home to Garden. Lost by 3 at home to Barton. 2 to Independence. I mean, you can't count on one hand how many games this year where Tech has won or lost by 5 or less. 4 or less. 4. I'm going to even go further. 4 or less.
Yes.
There's a lot.
It's true.
There are a ton of games like that when you Northeastern, McCook, Garden City. There's 3. Independence, Barton. We're up to 5 already. Dodge City the first time. Coffeyville the first time. Butler, there's 7. 8. 9 games this year have been decided by 3 points or less. 9. God,
they just always find themselves in these dogfights, man. I don't know what it is.
I think it's just the league overall, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Speaking of dogfights, last night Colby Community College was in a couple of those down at Hutch. They ended up losing both of those games at Hutchinson, did the Lady Trojans and the Trojans. But very competitive games. 50-42 was the final there at Hutch. That game was actually tied at halftime. But Colby had a rough third quarter, outscored 19-6, fought back in the fourth, but ended up losing by 8, 50-42. The Lady Trojans were led last night by Amisha Russell with 12 points last night. Led the way for her. Only 10 points for Desi Ulmer, who went 3 of 10 from the floor. So a tough night for their leading scorer as the Lady Trojans fall. And That's one of the rare losses for, they've actually alternated wins and losses here in the month of February, but they've had a pretty good 2026 portion of the season of the Lady Trojans. And the Trojan men, a very competitive night on the road at Hutch. They just come up short. They lose 75-71. They led at half by 7, but could not hold on for the win. 20 points from DJ Quezon, and then 13 from Rhett Katz got the start. And Rhett Katz had 13 points, the Logan Palco native. He was a big reason why they had the lead. I think in the first half, he had a great first half, did Rhett Katz. But another loss, unfortunately, for Colby Community College men as they lose down at Hutchinson last night. And like I said, they're sitting at the bottom of the standings right now. So we'll see. Like you said, with 4 games to go in this regular season, we'll see where things come together for the postseason here in a couple weeks. Also last night, some college basketball in Stillwater, Kansas. Kansas bouncing back after a loss on the road at Iowa State over the weekend. The Jayhawks get an 81-69 win over Okie State last night. Did you happen to see any highlights or catch any audio or anything like that from this game?
I was in bed as soon as I got home, Ross.
Well, I didn't watch any of this game. I caught some of the highlights. And this 81-69 game, and KU was in control from the beginning. I mean, it felt like KU got up by like 10-12, and they pushed it to like 14-16, and they just kind of kept Oklahoma State there for a majority of them. I mean, they're up 10-1 4 minutes in. They looked really, really good in the first half. Darren Peterson was absolutely on fire. He made 6 3-pointers in the game. He went 6 of 10 from deep, finished with 23 points. But guess what? Darren Peterson only played most of the first half.
I did see that. And you know what I also saw? I don't know if you saw this clip, but he hit a 3 and it was right in front of his own bench. And he goes and basically, it looked like he kind of tapped Bill Self or like gave him some sort of gesture, like right in front of him.
I did see.
And then right after that, Self checks him out of the game. And I think that was pretty much it for him. Very bizarre.
Yeah, it really is starting to get weird. And then after the game, post game, Bill Self was quoted saying something like he was surprised that Darren didn't play the full game because he thought he would be a full participant tonight. That's what he thought.
Now it's getting to the point where it's like, how hurt is he? Like, is he really? Or like,
I don't know.
Because I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, because it's like you don't want to just assume a guy's faking, but it just looks.
I'm telling you,
fishy.
I've had this gut feeling for this whole entire season. This whole thing feels weird. This feels very, very weird. This feels like a player that is saying, "I'll come play. I'm going to come play. I'm going to get my 20 points a night. Get a few stats, and then if we're up, if we're up and stuff, I'm gonna take a seat, and the other guys can finish it out." That's what it feels like. I mean, there's no other way to say it.
Yeah,
that is what it feels like.
I wonder what his teammates think. That's my question.
I would think you would absolutely hate it, but I'm telling you, they play fine. Tough night last night for Flory, only 8 points on 4 of 10 shooting, but Trey White was good, and Elmarco Jackson off the bench was great. 14 points on just 6 shots, made all 6 of his free throws, had 4 assists. He was very good. He played a majority of the minutes when Darren Peterson came out. But golly, the fact that, KU is a top 10 basketball team. They're playing like it, and they're playing like a team that is going to be having a nice deep run in March. But this whole story around Darren Peterson is just a massive black eye or stinker around it. It just, like you said, it smells and looks fishy.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know what to make of that, but also shout out to Bryson Tiller. Almost had a triple-double last night, 10 points, 11 boards, 7 assists. But Darren Peterson, I mean, you can't just go out there and play 18 minutes. I mean, he looked very healthy too. I mean, at least from the highlights I saw, he was moving pretty normally.
I was trying to see this. Here's a stat line that kind of concerns me for Darren Peterson. 22 points on 7 of 12 shooting, okay. 6 of 10 from 3, amazing. Look at the rest of the stats. 2 rebounds, no assists, no turnovers, 1 steal, 1 block.
I'm not too worried about that. He's a score-first guy.
I'm not trying to either, but I also makes me wonder, and I know he was on a heater last night, but I feel like he's out to get his, and that's it, if that makes sense. I'm out to get my 20 points, And after that, I'm good. Thanks. Which once again kind of stacks up into the thoughts that we saw with that video where he taps Bill Self and says, I'm good. Thanks.
That was so weird.
There are too many clues. There are too many clues that show this. Let's see this. Michael, of course, our wonderful Kansas fan who will always stand up for the Jayhawks. He says on the FNB Bank text line, 785-899-2222, could be that Darren Peterson seeing these lottery picks getting injuries like Toppin and Saunders. We have Toppin's out for the year with an ACL. Just doesn't want to get injured having to deal with that, but who knows? It is kind of disappointing. Which, I don't know, like, it seems so odd. It seems so odd that he's just out to get his, and if they win, great, and if they don't, whatever. That's what it really feels like. It's really starting to feel that way. Post game, after the 81-69 win for Kansas over Oklahoma State, post game, Bill Self talking about the win last night.
Offensively, I thought we were about as good as we've been, in large part because of Darren. But that first 10 minutes, God, we were on point, and we missed. We had more balls go in and out too that we executed, and got to. We didn't play well the last 5 minutes, and they cut it to 14. And second half, we were just out there. We didn't do much. Of course, Darren didn't play, but we didn't do much the second half, and that was obviously disappointing that we didn't play better down the stretch and we didn't play strong. Our bigs and all three of our bigs got to play stronger, rebound the ball better. Follow had his way with us, but there was a lot of good things that happened. Late game situation wasn't great, but God, I'll take it. And I'm so happy for El Marco. I thought he was fantastic. Darren was so good early, but still we only got 18 minutes out of him. But he's not always going to shoot the ball like that. But he had three go all the way down and come out. It could have even been better. But that was a good team that played there for a while tonight.
It was a really good team. Jared H. on the text line says that Peterson is only there for his draft stock.
I don't know.
I don't know, man. I think Jared H. is stiff. I think he's got something.
I'd have to see something like really a little more concrete,
I don't
know what that is, but
I'm telling you, there is just a lot of stuff. Why would you not, if you're a guy who you've probably been told for the last couple of years you're a future NBA draft lottery pick? Why don't you go play somewhere and play a year in college, because you have to. Go get paid, make $3 million, $4 million, whatever it can, and then come to the NBA where you're going to be one of the better players. Why not?
I'll say this though. He's definitely gone to Kansas to improve his draft stock because Kansas is a great basketball school and he can show his stuff on a big stage for a great team. And that's exactly what he's doing. So in that sense, sure.
He's improved his stock, but man, I'm telling you, if you're a GM of an NBA team, are you concerned that this is a guy that we just don't see play a whole lot? And
there's definitely a thought.
Because I'm sure, is there thought number one? Is he dealing with injuries? I don't really think that's the case. But then are you thinking, does he really care? Does he care enough?
That's what you have to decide for yourself. You're not in the locker room. That's the thing.
Sticky situation. Really sticky situation. You watch. This is my gut feeling. He'll get to the postseason, as particularly NCAA tournament. Darren Peterson will play 38 minutes a game. He'll play when it matters most, and he'll shine.
I hope he does. It'd be fun.
This is not a good precedent to set, people. I don't recall a lot of players doing this. Other great, Cade Cunningham, Blake Griffin, other guys that went on to have great NBA careers, were superstars in college. Don't remember them playing like this. This is a bad precedent to set. Even DiPatanza doesn't. I can't even say his name.
Debanza. It's simple, man. Come on.
Debanza doesn't even. I feel like Debanza plays the full minutes he can. Now he has to rely on him more because
Actually, I got it wrong. It's Debanza.
No, see, Debanza. So what do we know? Nothing. But nonetheless, I don't know. This whole thing just has me feeling kind of odd, and I've had that feeling for a while. And last night with that whole Bill Self getting tapped by Darren Peterson makes me feel even more odd. Very, very weird. For sure. There you go. That was a night last night in hoops. Oh, can't forget, of course, high school basketball last night. Goodland took on Syracuse. Goodland Cowgirls winning easily 63-29. It was 4 girls in double figures, and that led the way to a season high 63 points in a convincing win. Although Syracuse, I think, is a pretty good basketball team. They got a nice player in Kimber Tomaszek and Haley Hampton, who's a very talented post player. Cowgirls just played really, really good, particularly offensively, and really looked crisp and got it done last night. Cowboys, it's amazing. It's up and down for them this entire year, and the record reflects that. They got down by 10 at the end of the first quarter because a young man by the name of Charlie Keller hit his first 6 3-pointers in the first quarter. 6 for 6 to start the game. Ended up with 31 points. He cooled off, but ended up with 31 points. And the Cowboys got it down to 2 at one point in time, got it down to 4, but then got down by 19, got it down to 6, just couldn't overcome it. And inconsistency has been the word, unfortunately, this year for the Cowboys. They have looked great at times and have looked lost at others, it seems like, unfortunately for them. And that's what you get. And then you look at the record, and that's what you kind of get. And so that was a tough loss last night for them on the road at Syracuse, losing 70-57. And like I mentioned, Goodland wraps up the regular season at home Friday. Holcomb comes to town. The de facto GWAC Girls Championship game on the line. And on the boys' side, the Cowboys trying to find a way to steal a win against a really good Holcomb team that's ranked in the top 5. But like I said, last night, a split, a win for the Cowgirls and a loss for the Cowboys. All right, let's get to a break. Oh, and I did see news last night that Colby will not be rescheduling the Scott City game, which is fascinating to me, but they will not be rescheduling that. We will take a break. When we come back, we will visit with Steve Merrick, talk with him about Nebraska basketball, even a little football as well. Spring football gets started up for the Huskers here this weekend. That's next in the Morning Blitz.
It's time to step into premium capability at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland with strong GMC offers happening now. Get into a 2026 GMC Sierra 1500 Elevation with up to $7,000 in rebates, now $51,150. And if you're ready for a full-size luxury, the 2026 GMC Yukon features 1.9% APR for well-qualified buyers. Full design, professional-grade performance. GMC delivers power and refinement wherever the road takes you. Visit Earl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland today or online at earlchev.com.
Kick off 2026 ready for whatever winter brings. At Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby, they've got the gear to start the new year strong. Get organized with rugged storage totes. And when the snow starts falling, if it does, power through it with Ego and Craftsman snow blowers. Or if it's just the light stuff, blow it away with Ego leaf blowers. And don't forget ice melt to keep your sidewalk safe all season long. New year, winter ready. Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby. Helpful folks, trusted brands, and everything you need to get it done.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
Good morning, Jared Law with the Andersons in Overland Park, Kansas, with your morning market update. It is Thursday, February 19th, in the overnight session. March corn down 0.5 cent at 426.5. May down 0.5 cent at 436.25. July down 3/4 at 444. December down 0.5 cent at 460.5. Soybeans on the march up 1 1/4 at 11.34 3/4. May at 3/4 11.49 3/4. July up 0.5 cent at 11.62. November down 0.5 cent at 11.16. KC wheat on the march up 5 1/4, 5.56 May up 5 1/4 at 5.67 even. July up 5 at 5.79 1/4. Chicago wheat up 6.5 at 5.53.5. Feeder cattle finished yesterday 370.57.5. Live cattle 246.60. Lean hogs 92.55. Crude oil futures up $1.31 a barrel at 66.50. Gold down $2 an ounce at 4,984.50. Silver up 85 cents at 78.36. U.S. dollar index up 19 points at 97.81. Dow futures down 180 at 49,542. S&P futures down 22 at 6,871.50. You can move to cash green or want to talk about risk management, you can reach out to myself, Jared Law, Tom Sluter, Tyler Gush, 913-748-3000. If you're out in Colorado, you can reach out to John Hankey or John Stiles at 970-744-4484.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment.
That's what I'm talking about. Sport on the Morning Blitz.
Continuing on a Thursday program here on the Morning Blitz. Once again, going to be a cold one today. Currently 19 degrees outside, windy. 30% chance of snow, highs around the mid-30s here on this Thursday. It's a good soup day. Good day for soup. Haven't had a lot of those. What's your favorite soup? What's your favorite soup?
When I was younger, I used to really enjoy a chicken noodle soup, so I think it's that by default.
Chicken noodle soup by default. Let's visit with Steve Mark. He's from inside Nebraska. Steve, what's your favorite kind of soup?
Man, I'd have to agree. It's the traditional chicken noodle and soup. How can you go away from that, right?
Yeah, you can't go wrong with chicken noodle, I'm guessing. I don't know. There's a lot of good ones. I guess it depends on the mood for sure. But I love a good beef and noodle soup. Oh, man, beef and noodle soup was good. But Steve Mark, our guest from inside Nebraska. Steve, thank you so much for joining us today. Nebraska basketball, we'll start there, has started to lose a little bit of steam here over the last few games. They've lost 4 out of their last 6 now, albeit against some really good competition or on the road. I had a buddy of mine from back in Nebraska say, what's your concern level for this? Where is your concern level with how Nebraska's played here over the last 6 games and the outcomes that have been?
Yeah, that's a good observation. They have lost steam, and like you said, it has been against some really tough competition. But yeah, the level of concern right now is growing, I would say, just because for the fact, they just got off that Iowa game. And once again, one of the common themes with this Nebraska basketball team, in my opinion, as of late, has been toughness and rebounding. And, if you watch the game at Iowa, it was the Hawkeyes who were kind of winning that battle on the boards and in that muscle department. So, I mean, that's something that you would prefer not to happen, down the stretch, right before the Big Ten tournament. And then, of course, the NCAA tournament, because I think, as a basketball team, you'd like to, hang your hat on toughness and get the ball and holding opponents to one possession each time down the court and rebounding the basketball. So the concern level is growing, but, to Nebraska's credit, they do have some winnable games to get back on track and get some confidence and just work on things and especially get that offense humming again. So, the Penn State and Maryland games are both at Pinnacle Bank Arena. The place is going to be rocking. It's going to be a great opportunity for them to just get the wheels back on track and just work on some things offensively so they can continue to scoring at clips, like they were earlier in the season where teams are having a hard time, keeping up with them. And, the rebounding battle and physicality standpoint wasn't necessarily, that big of a deal, but, down the stretch, it certainly is.
And you mentioned down the stretch, rebounding and physicality maybe becoming a bigger deal. And Nebraska's a team without a guy bigger than 6'9" playing consistently. Do you think that size disadvantage is going to play a big part here down the stretch?
Absolutely. And, so Rink Mass, he goes 6'10", 250, and then Berke Buchtengel, the 4-man, goes 6'10" and 244. But outside of those guys, the depth is really lacking on Nebraska's roster, and it's a tough situation with Ugi Urashevich. He's a Central Michigan transfer. He's 6'11", 240 pounds. He'd be someone who would really, really help out in that area, but he just hasn't played all season. He's played one game during the season, and he's headed for a medical redshirt with a lingering back injury all season. So the team has had some difficulties in the injury situation with some guys that would really help out in the front court and, take some pressure off of Rink and Berke in those situations. But, as of right now, it's just Rink and Berke as the two bigs, and everybody else, you're going to have to rely on the guards. And, Sam Hoiberg is doing the best he can. I think he's like the second or third leading rebounder on the team right now as a sub six foot guard, but he's a dog. But yeah, I mean, it's looking a little rough right now in the front court, especially with the depth too, because there's some other guys that have really needed to step up and they haven't. I feel like Jared Garcia is one of those front court players at 6'8", 240 pounds. He's a transfer from Tulsa. He's in his 6th year. He's a veteran, tough guy. He's a man, but he just really hasn't, clicked. It hasn't really clicked for him on the court, and he's kind of fallen out of the rotation right now. So Nebraska's operating at a 7-man rotation, and that's kind of leading to some fatigue, in my opinion. And again, when opponents are scouting you and watching your games and seeing how other opponents are finding some success with physicality and being tough, it's leading to success. And that's I think what you saw Iowa do and take advantage of, and it certainly worked.
Steve Mark is our guest here from Inside Nebraska, talking Nebraska basketball. Nebraska losers of 4 their last 6, but still 22-4 on the season. You mentioned, Jared Garcia, and they or even Leo Curtis. They need to just, I know Fred doesn't want to, and he's the head coach and he has the right not to, but they need to just throw another guy out there just for a few minutes. Yeah. Whether it's just Garcia or Curtis, just throw a guy out there, just give a few minutes to help do a thing. And then even if they got to play one extra guard, if they got to play Kendall Blue or something like that for just a couple minutes here or there, I think would really help this team. Not they have to do a whole lot, just be out there just to give a couple more minutes to give guys time to get some rest.
Excellent point on Leo Curtis. And yeah, I think it was really, really unfortunate. I mentioned the injuries to Ugi, but also to Leo Curtis. He's coming off a left ankle sprain. And so I guess that the coaching staff did not think that it was time for him to get out there and test that ankle. But I think the Penn State and Maryland games are going to be the opportunities for that to happen. But yeah, at 7'2", Leo Curtis is absolutely, he showed good things when he did get an opportunity to get some non-garbage time minutes at Michigan when Rink was feeling ill and didn't play. He did a lot of good things and he helped the team out, and I feel like he could do that once again, but he just needs to get healthy. And he's been a guy who's been off and on injured as a young guy from Iceland, just figuring out college basketball. But yeah, absolutely, as a 7'2" center, he can do some things and certainly help out in the rebounding department. He's a little soft right now, but again, he's a true freshman. He's learning how to play college basketball in America, but he would certainly help. So yeah, the front court, is kind of on my mind right now as a big level of concern, as well as, the offense just clicking again and making more adjustments and making them sooner when they realize opponents are really being physical with them and up in their face, even out beyond the 3-point line. Fred Hoiberg has talked ad nauseum about, your eyes should light up when defenses are pressuring you that bad. You should, cut to the hoop, be more aggressive, getting to the rim, because opportunities are going to be there. And I don't think the offense has really done that as of late. So we'll see. We'll see what happens down the stretch here. But the team certainly looks fatigued, in my opinion. But yeah, a 7-man rotation is going to do that. So we'll see how the adjustments look moving forward here.
Steve, you mentioned, of course, the offense and trying to get back on track. Do you think that's something that they're going to do or be able to do here down the stretch? Or are they just going to have to kind of gut it out because of how the season has gone to this point in time?
Well, I think the games against Penn State and Maryland, then they have the West Coast trip with USC and UCLA before coming back home to Iowa. I think there are definitely opportunities to find that offensive rhythm again. And here's the thing: when you have the amount of shooters that Nebraska has, the Price Sanfords, those guys are so dangerous. They can get hot so quickly. And momentum can turn on, as soon as the three-pointer swishes the hoop. So I think the offense can get in the groove. But again, it's not just Price. Others need to step up, especially Rink. Rink Mass, I think he's shooting around 22% his last 11 games from three-point range. His offense has kind of fallen off the cliff here. He hasn't scored in double digits many times during that stretch. And of course, he's battled that illness and everything. But he's through that illness, and he just simply put, he needs to play better, and he needs to play tougher down low in the paint. So I think there's definitely opportunities for the offense to find that rhythm and get clicking, and I think they will definitely against Penn State and Maryland. And then we'll see how the West Coast trip goes. But yeah, I mean, you certainly want to be playing your best, down the stretch in March in the conference tournament and NCAA tournament seasons. But they're definitely not doing that right now. So that's something that they need to work out, and it's going to be a storyline moving forward for sure.
Steve, looking ahead a little bit, what do you think Nebraska's ceiling is in March Madness?
Yeah, I think the ceiling, they're, like I said, they can be a dangerous team with the way they are capable of scoring the basketball. But, right now they're reeling a little bit, but if you're talking about the ceiling of this team, they're absolutely a team that can, make history at Nebraska and be the first team to win an NCAA tournament. I absolutely believe that. They're that dangerous, and they can be. But again, we've also seen how they're playing right now, and it's, not optimal. So I think the ceiling is absolutely they can be a team that can win on the first weekend of the dance, and potentially another game down there too. So yeah, I mean, that's the ceiling of this team right now. Going into it, the preseason goal of the team, everybody knows it. It's to win an NCAA tournament game. I know the Big Ten tournament is nice, and you obviously want to win that and gain momentum out there in Chicago. But really, the only thing that everybody cares about right now is getting that monkey off the back and making history at Nebraska by winning the first game of the dance. So I think the ceiling is absolutely they can win a NCAA tournament game, but they're also dangerous enough to win a couple there.
Steve Mark is our guest from Inside Nebraska. I got another question about basketball, and then I'll get you one more on football before we let you go, Steve. But I want to know, watching the Iowa game, there were lots of times where Nebraska, because of that pressure defense, did not attack the basket off the dribble. How much is this team missing a driver that can just take it to the rack, aka like a Bryce Williams was last year? They just don't really have that guy that does that this year. And how handy would it be to have that guy?
Man, it would be really good. It would help out a lot, and I think that's something that Braden Frager, the redshirt freshman out of Lincoln Southeast, he could provide some of that. Obviously, everybody knows Price Sanford as a knockdown three-point shooter coming off screens, getting the ball and shooting it. But he's shown some driving capabilities too. But I think that the driver that's really kind of like a Braden Frager thing. That's really what he kind of excels at. He can knock down threes too. But when Braden Frager is at his best, he is attacking the rim, and he's bringing juice, and he's bringing heat to the rim. And he's also coming off a sprained ankle, just like Leo Curtis is. He hasn't really looked the same, in my opinion, prior to that injury. So again, like I mentioned with the injuries and with such a short rotation that they're running with, it's really kind of making an impact, and we're kind of seeing it right now. It's a long season. Guys are getting banged up all the time. Everybody deals with it. But in Nebraska's case, with the 7-man rotation right now, Braden Frager coming off the bench is really, really important, and he can be that driver. He can be that energy guy who gets to the rim, but he just hasn't looked the same. He hasn't looked as explosive as he was prior to the ankle sprain. So he just needs time to get back in the swing of things, and maybe he's hitting a freshman wall. I don't know, but yeah, it's a long season, and for Nebraska to reach their goals, everybody needs to be playing at their best. And right now, Rink Mast is not playing at his best, and Braden Frager is not playing at his best. So, yeah, they just need to figure some these out right now. It's a really important stretch of the season to get right with these two big time winnable games at home. And I think these are really important games, especially for Braden Frager to find his offense, because if he's clicking, I think that kind of makes everybody else click on the court too, because of everything that he brings off the bench.
Steve, we'll get you out of here on this. Nebraska starts spring football, believe it or not, in late winter. But spring football starts up this weekend. What are one or two storylines you're most fascinated to learn more about as they get set for spring ball?
Man, there are so many. I'm actually going to a press conference today. They're kicking off spring ball on Saturday this weekend, and having a pre-spring ball press conference down at Hawks today. So it's definitely starting in late February. It feels a little weird, but here we go. But yeah, with storylines, there's a lot. I mean, Anthony Calandria, how does he fit in with Dana Holgerson's offense? What is Dana Holgerson's offense? How does it adjust to having a true dual threat quarterback back there? I mean, it's very exciting to think about, and it's something that I think Nebraska's offense has needed for a while. Obviously, Dylan Raiola did not bring the dual threat capability, and that kind of limited the offense in a big way, especially in the red zone, where Nebraska wants to be better this year at being more efficient at scoring touchdowns once you cross the opponent's 20-yard line in the low red zone. So the Anthony Calandria, how he fits with the offense and Holgerson is very, very intriguing to me. You could also look at the running back room. They're kind of gambling with the running backs in that room right now. They're very inexperienced, and you just don't know what you have yet. And that's kind of scary going into a very pivotal year 4 for Matt Rule. The offensive line, they've added some really good pieces, 3 transfers with power conference starting experience. That's another one, but obviously like the big one is the defense with Rob Orich coming over from San Diego State. This is a big step up for him, and he's going to be calling the defense against a lot of veteran offensive coordinators in the Big Ten Conference. So, I mean, that's going to be something really to watch as somebody, a young up and comer who is taking just a really big jump in his career. So it's going to be fascinating to watch the defensive side of the ball on defense as they kind of shift from the Tony White 3-3-5-ish that Butler was trying to run last year to a true 4-2-5 and all the different kind of things that go along with that. So yeah, Anthony Calandria on offense, that quarterback brings an element that Nebraska has not had the past 2 seasons. And then obviously the new defensive coordinator in Rob Orich. That's where my mind's going to be.
He is Steve Mark from Inside Nebraska. Steve, thank you so much for the time. Really enjoy it. We'll have you on again sometime soon. All right, buddy? Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Once again, great stuff there from Steve Mark of Inside Nebraska. We'll take our break, come back, and wrap up the show with our final segment next. This is a Thursday edition of the Morning Blitz.
Boy, howdy, are we in the big travel season. Have peace of mind that trained and certified crews from S&M Towing, Recovery, and Repair stand by round the clock, ready to help you. The tri-state area rely on these teams from Goodland, Burlington, Colby, and Oakley. When troubles arise, get roadside assistance, towing, and recovery anytime, any size. Call 785-899-5423, 899-5423.
When it comes to electrical work, Lore Electric does more. Whether it's wiring your home, lighting up your business, or powering your farm, Zach and the crew have you covered. From energy-saving LED upgrades to setting up grain bins in the field, Lore Electric handles residential, commercial, and ag projects with expert care. And when you call, they'll actually call you back fast. For top-notch service and serious know-how, call Lore Electric, because they don't just do more, they care more at Lore Electric.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland, and let's get you covered. The Insurance Agency. Insurance the way it should be.
Discount Dan strikes again. His shady contract has no warranty.
He said, trust me, and now my wall's doing yoga. Not on my watch.
Supervan unleashes the written warranty of truth.
With Morton, what's on paper means something. Let's rebuild this right with strength, support, and trusses that don't nap during windstorms. Don't just build like a hero with Supervan, the Morton Man.
It's not just sports, it's your morning game plan.
I don't even believe you have a plan. I have part of a plan. That is not a plan.
This is the Morning Blitz.
Thanks to Steve Mark. Great stuff from him on the program. Minutes ago, missing that conversation. Check out the podcast. Wrapping up a Thursday show, Michael on the FB Bank text line says, going back to the Darren Peterson conversation, segment 1, and somebody needs to just let these 18-year-olds go straight to the NBA. We get done with this nonsense, get back to team building. I would love that. I would love it.
Would be nice.
I'd be perfectly fine if guys that wanted to go straight to the NBA. The second part of that, the team building part, they're going to have to correct the portal in order to do that. The transfer portal, if they're going to do that part. It's still hard to build a team. Because guys can just move every year. They got to put a limit on that or find a way to put that, take care of that. But I would be fine with that. If guys are good enough, like Darren Peterson, I think is good enough to probably just go to the league right away. Why not? Just let him go. Doesn't need to be doing this and doing that kind of stuff. Anything we miss on a Thursday program, sir? Or anything you would like to hit on that's on your mind?
So.
That you scratching to itch or talk about or something?
We've hit pretty much everything, I think, in the region, at least for what went on yesterday.
Anything outside the region that I'm missing that's big?
Found myself watching a lot of bobsled 2 nights ago. It was a lot of fun.
The mono bob or
the double bob?
The double bob.
Whatever they call it.
I think it's 2-man, I think is what they call it.
I think you're right. 2-man bobsled, not double bob.
Yeah, mono bob is the solo, which I did watch that because I talked about with the 40-year-old women winning first and third. Did see that. Speaking of Olympics, I saw Michaela Schifrin won gold again. First time since 2018.
Wow, first time since 2018.
I think that was what I saw. First time since 2018 that she got it done. So
it's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty darn good. Let's get to the walk-off.
And back lifts his ball high and deep to right. How about a walk-off three? Thomas to the 10. Denver's going on to New England. They win it on the first play of overtime. Mahomes flings it. It's there. Hardman. Jackpot. Kansas City.
You know, we were talking yesterday a little bit about the Chiefs and restructuring Patrick Mahomes' contract for the 4th straight year. They've created more than $43 million in cap space because of because they've dropped his cap hit from 78.2 to 34.6. And they do that by converting that all into signing bonus is how they make that work. But now they enter the offseason more than $57 million. They entered the offseason over $57 million over the cap, so they still have to do some work there a little bit. Here's a thought. I saw that the Seahawks might not be able to re-sign or even get Kenneth Walker.
That's a shame.
That's what I've seen. If I'm Kansas City, aren't you sniffing around that? You need a running back. Kenneth Walker is a Super Bowl MVP running back. I think he's still got some good tread on the tires. I know career for running backs is light, but I think that'd be a good fit.
I agree. And also, he has more tread on the tires than most because he's been sharing the running back room with Zach Charbonnet for the past 2 years. So he's got a little extra juice.
So I don't know. I find that fascinating that I saw that they would not be able to either franchise tag him or re-sign him is what it looks like. And so he's going to be a free agent. Well, hello, Kansas City. Come on down. They need a running back. Why not get Kenneth Walker? That might be a good fit. I was impressed with him in the Super Bowl and the playoff run. He was so good, so patient at the line of scrimmage after getting the ball and then finding the hole and going. Very impressed.
Yeah, he's a great running back.
That will do it for our Thursday show. We're back again tomorrow on a Friday. We will have picks of the weekend. We missed last week because yours truly was sick. My bad. We'll have picks of the weekend again. We'll look ahead to the final night of the high school basketball regular season. Regional wrestling for the boys gets going. It's a loaded Friday. So make sure you make your way on back here to the Morning Blitz here in 23 hours. We'll see you then.